I created a connection between AI and my calendar so I can write something on the chatbot and it can do something on my calendar using MCP. Let me show you how it works. Just for instance, I can say, today I need to catch a flight from Hamburg at 4 p.m. The flight, uh, the flight is for 1 hour. Add this to my calendar. So what it does is it uses MCP to do this. So it tries to use MCP to do this, and then you can continue. It added everything, and you're going to see it now. Yeah. An interesting thing is, remember, I just wrote 1 hour. It could figure out that it's going to be at 5 p.m. and then it could add it also here. One of the most important concepts in AI today is MCP. And why MCP is very important is because MCP gives AI access to tools, as you can see here, and access to resources, which could be our data, and then we can also include prompt templates. Why this is very important is because normally AI just learns from training data and learn patterns from training data, but doesn't have access to real world, doesn't have access to doing things. But what MCP does is it creates a standard in which we can easily do AI. So today, what I want to go through is we are going to build an MCP server together. And the MCP server, we are going to expose a tool. What the tool is going to do is going to help us to interact or communicate with our Google Calendar. So for instance, you can just chat with your calendar by saying, hey, I have an event tomorrow. Can you please add it to my calendar? The event is going to be at 12 p.m. And automatically AI can pick this information you have given it, format it, and then add it to our calendar. There are also different types of MCP clients. So we have clients like Cloud, Desktop, we have clients like Cursor and things like that. We're going to try a bit of a few clients today, but the major thing is just for this video is to be able to connect AI to our Google Calendar. So let's get started. First, create an empty project on Cursor. I'm using Cursor IDE. I already created an empty project. So I create. Now I'm going to use UV as my project package manager. So in Python, there are different types of package manager that you can use. You can use Poetry or Pip or Conda, whatever you choose to use. But in my case, I'm going to use UV, and I'll show you the reason why I'm going to use UV. So if you check, UV is quite new, and UV seems to be a bit faster than the rest of them. So you can see UV is quite faster even than Poetry. So that's one of the reasons why I'm going to use UV. To get started, I'm going to just do UV init dot, and that automatically creates my project for me. I'm going to change this thing. Since we're going to work with Google Calendar, I'm going to change the name of the main file to Google Calendar, just Google Calendar. Yeah, great. So since we're going to use Google Calendar, one thing that is very important is we need the credentials to connect to Google Calendar. And because of these credentials, we are going to need a .env file. So I can create a new file, which I'm going to call .env. And in my .env file, we are going to need a couple of things. To get started, let's go to Google Cloud Course console, and there we can search for Google Calendar API. And in our Google Calendar API, we can get the credentials to connect to Google Calendar API. Here, we just need to create credential. I think something somewhere here, credentials, and then you need to just do create credentials. We are going to use the OAuth for creating credentials, connecting to the credentials. So you click OAuth. It's going to be a desktop app. So we click desktop app. We can give it the name MCP calendar app. We give it MCP calendar app, we create, and this is going to create a client ID and a client secret. So those are the two major things we need. We also need what is called the token and refresh token. But the issue with refresh token is Google creates it for you every time when you want to connect to it the first time, and the token only lasts for 1 hour. But we will see how we can manage this later in the video. So let's get started with the code. So in the code, I'm going to create a virtual environment. So on UV, you just need to use UV VMs, and this automatically creates a virtual environment for you. And then I source the virtual environment here, bin, and this is going to activate the virtual environment. If you can see here, we already have it that is activated. So to get started, we need few things. Since we have .env, that means we need our .library to get our credentials from our .env. So we just need import. Yeah, here I need to do from .env. I import .env. Then I also need OS. Then I also need couple of libraries from Google to get connected to Google. Also, it's been really good, but I don't need this one. I don't know why this is added. I also don't need datetime. I just need libraries that will help me to connect to Google. I will need the scopes, like you see here, which is going to also help in the connection. So that's why I need also scopes to connect to Google Calendar. So these are the major things I need. So the next thing we need to do, which is very important now, is just to create our MCP server. So I just need to do MCP. I need to first import it. So to do that, I need to do import MCP, fast MCP, and here I create the MCP server. And in my MCP server, I need to create the name of the server. The name of the server could be Google Calendar. And next thing that's important to do is to add the dependency. So you're going to see a bit why this is important. So I'm going to add the dependency. So I need Google authentication dependency. I also need other Google dependencies. Then I also need Google API Python. No, I already have Google API Python. I also need I need the Python.env. Yeah, exactly. I need Python.env. Great. So these are the dependencies that I need. So now I also need to install this dependency. To install this dependency, I just need to do UV add. Then I am going to add all these dependencies one by one. So Python-env, I need .env, I need the authentication also from Google. Wow, not now. So here I also need MCP, I think it's called, no. I need also the authentication here. I don't know why it's there. I'm bad at typing. And then I need the client also. And then I need and then I need this one. This one is missing. Okay, so automatically all these are going to be installed. And the last thing I need, which I forgot to add there, is UV add. Then you also need to add the MCP CLI. CLI. Great. So we have installed all our dependencies, and we have created our MCP server name. The next thing that is very important for us to create, which is exactly what we need to do, is to create the tool. I'm going to show you a bit how this works. So all you need to do is have a decorator, which is called MCP tool, and what this and we have a function which is going to be to create calendar. We are going to create calendar event. So that's what this function is going to do. And then yeah, we need some arguments for creating the calendar event. One is going to be the summary. Either sometimes it's called title, but what is important, we need the summary, and then we need we have the start date and the end date already. We need I think I prefer to use the start time, yeah, string, then also the end time as a string, and then we also need the description. I don't need these ones. Then we may need the location. So these are all the things that we are going to add when we want to create an event on Google. And then the next thing we need could be attendees if we have you want to invite people. And then maybe what is important also is the time zone. But this could be, the description should be optional. And then location can be optional too. Attendees can be optional. So I need to import location. I need to import optional because I'm adding it here, and then attendees can also be optional. But this one supposed to be optional. But then I can put a default value, which I will call. Since I live in EU, I just say what is important for creating. These are the arguments we need for creating an event on Google Calendar. Okay, now let's get into the code itself. To get into the code itself, I'm just going to put a try catch so that in case there's an error, I can see what the error is. Yeah. And then I don't need this one. I don't know why. I don't need cursor sometimes just give you so many things. Yeah, I don't need this one yet. I just need a try and catch. And the first thing I need to do is first I need to load my credentials, which are in my .env. So this is load credentials. Let's load credentials. And to do that, I just need to call load.env. Okay. And the next thing is I need to create variables for the credentials I load from the .env. So I need the ID. I need the secret, and I don't need the rest of them. Okay, so I don't need this yet. Okay, now we already can see from here that we have the ID, so we just need to copy it here, and then we have, well, come here, I have client ID equals this. I'm going to delete it after this video. So we also have client secret equals, we copy it from here, and we can put it here equals this. So we have the client secret already. We have the client secret and client ID. That's what we need from Google. So the next thing is, in case one of them is we don't have that, we just want to raise an error for that. And then we also need the refresh token. Presently, we don't have the refresh token. As I mentioned previously, the refresh token, we get it at the first login. And then what we want to do is at the first login, once we get it, we also save it. What we can do here, I think already. So what we can do here now is just to check. So if we have the refresh token, if you have the refresh token, if you have the refresh token, if you have the refresh token, then if you have the refresh token. So if you have the refresh token, then we create our credentials. Credentials equals to create, and then we can add all this. But before we have our, if we don't have our so first we can just have the create equals to none. So if we have refresh token, then it does this, create the credentials. If we don't have refresh token at the beginning, the first time when we don't have refresh token, then we need to install the flow. So we use this to do that. We need to be very careful here because, as I said, sometimes cursor is doing a lot of things, but you need to check again if it's right. So something seems to be wrong here. What you need here, you need to install it. So you need to tell it what to install. So here we have installed here, and then these are going to be inside will be a dictionary, and then this, yeah. So just be careful with this. So you have the flow. This is going to happen at the beginning when you don't have the refresh token. So it's going to try to install it. We don't need project ID. Yeah, we need authentication URI, and then we need the token URI. This is also not important. So these are the things that you need, and then automatically it gets the refresh token. So once you get the refresh token, you also need to run the server, and then you're going to get it. Now the token is going to be added, and we can just save the token in our .env. So you're going to see how this works. So we are going to save the token in our .env after we get a token. So .env, and then we append it anyways. We append it, and then we write the token. Yeah. So basically, let me confirm the name. So the name is going to be refresh token, and yeah, it's called refresh token. Okay, and yeah, it's called refresh token. So basically, this all you need to do is to, if not credential or if it's invalid, you tell us that it's invalid. The next thing you need to do now is to create actually the event. So the event is what is going to be added to your to the Google Calendar. So we need the summary, we need the start, we need start and the end, or we need other things that we already added on top. So we need description, location. So here, because some of them are optional, so the description, location, attendee, they are all optional. So we say here we can just put the event. So we can say if description is there, add it, then the rest of them. If description is there, add it to the event. If location is there, add it to the event. And if attendee is there, also add it to the event. So that's what we are going to add to the Google, to our calendar. So now we also just need to build this calendar based on our credentials. So what we call our credential here is create, and then they have the credential here and get flow here. So what you need here is actually the create, not credentials. Okay. So this seems to be good already. So once you have the credential, you had the event. But here we don't want to call it event because we already have a variable called event. What you call it is event result. When you have the event results, you can also just show the link to the result. So this is a tool in MCP, and this tool, the function is just to create a new calendar event. And we'll see how it works now. So to see how it works now, we just need to I think here I want to also just get any errors that will call while trying to create the event. So this seems to be good. This is not important here. I'm just naming format. everything. And here to run MCP, you need to write mcp.run, and then you need to also add the transport. I will show you the different types of transports we have, but here we can just use the standard IO. Everything seems to be fine. Something is quite wrong here. So you have this for this. Okay, I think one of the curly bracket is missing. Okay, this is good. So this is all the code we need to create an MCP server that can automatically add a new event for us on our Google Calendar. Okay, let's go to what we've done again. So we import all the things that we needed. We create an MCP server called Google Calendar. We create a tool called Create Calendar Event. We get all the information that we need to add to the event. And then first we load the credentials that were stored in the .env. And if you don't find it, it throws an error. And this is just used for our connection to Google Calendar. We need the refresh token. By the beginning, we don't have the refresh token. We're going to get it at the first login. I'll show you how this is done in real time. If you have the refresh token, just create the credentials. If not, you need to use install app flow to get the tokens, and then we store the token in the .env. And now we have the information about the event. We get all the information about the event, and then we initialize the credential for the Google Calendar, then send the event to Google Calendar, and then it sends us the link to the event that was created. And what is very important for MCP here is to MCP run, and then we have the transport. So there are three types of transport you can use now. You can use the standard IO, or you can use the SSE, or you can use the streamless HTTP. I'll show you that. So now we have created our MCP server. Now is to connect our MCP server to the client. To connect MCP server to the client, we'll first through the MCP Inspector client. To do that, you just need to do MCP dev and then the file name. And so file name is just Google Calendar. So this will open MCP Inspector. So we go to MCP Inspector. Here we need the path to our file, which is going to be this one. Copy the path to the file and you put it here. And then you also need the token. You need the process token. You add it here, and then you connect to it. So we don't have anything. We don't have any resources. I tell you, as I told you previously, we can have resources, which is like connecting to a database. You can have prompt, but here we have the tools, and we have a list of tools. So here we just have the create calendar event, which is exactly what we have as the name of our tool. To add resources, you just need to use at mcp.resources decorator. So here we just try. I'm going to try stream section, and then I need to have the right format for the time. Yes, I'm just going to copy and paste. It's good time format. I can just change it to 20 and 21. So we need to create a token. So here is to create a token. We need to advance, go to and save. So here is going to create a token, and it says that it's completed. So if you go here, you see success, that is completed. And if you go to our code now, if you check .env, we have a token that was created. So we see everything work out well. We can copy this one to confirm that it was created. So let's go here. I just need to go to my Google Calendar, and my Google Calendar I already created several things. That's why we have so many things here. Okay, so let's try with a different MCP inspector, so we can just do let me clean up this one. To use another MCP inspector, we want to use to use another MCP client. We're going to use the cursor desktop. So what we do is we just do MCP install, then this is going to add our Google Calendar to our Cursor desktop, and then next thing is to actually open Cursor desktop. So if we open Cursor desktop now, if we check if it has been added, you need to go to Cursor here, go to settings, and then go to developer, and we have two of them. We can do edit here. Here if we do edit, so this is one I tried before, but we have the Google Calendar, so we can delete this one. This one is not important. So we have only one now. So if you save it, you need to close Cursor to activate it. So you close Cursor. I'm sorry, not Cursor. You need to close Cloud Desktop, then you open it again. So you open Cloud Desktop again. Now you should have just the one we just created. Good. Here we only have the one we created, and we see here it says it's running. Okay, cool. So what we can do now is just to come here, and we can just add something like, hey, I am going for a party with friends. With friends on Friday night at 1 a.m. I will be there for 4 hours. Please add this to my calendar. So if you do that, run it, it tries to look for tools that you need. So here it just tells you, hey, I need this create calendar event. I said, okay, allow it. You create the description, party with friends for 4 hours, and then it adds it to our calendar. So let's go now to our calendar and check if we have it. So I think you need to reload it. And here we have it, party with friends, 1 to 5 a.m. Let me just add something else to be sure that it works. Maybe something like, I have a meeting with an investor on let's say Monday at 7 a.m. and we will be there for 2 hours. Please add this to my calendar. Let's try again, and it's going to pick all the information we need. It's adding to the calendar, meeting with investor, 7 a.m. 23rd of this. So it's going to add it, and perfect, it's added. Let's go. So yeah, you see, meeting with investors, 7 a.m. So what we did in this video was create an MCP server that connects to our Google Calendar. So this connects our AI to our Google Calendar, and when we are chatting, we can add things to our Google Calendar automatically, because the AI understands as a connection to our Google Calendar. But one thing you should know that is really interesting is that you just need to write the information automatically. The AI is going to pick the important information from it, and then, like for instance, I only told it 7 a.m. and 2 hours, then it understand that it's 7 a.m. and it's going to end by 9, then also gives a summary of the title and things like that, and had it automatically. So this is how to connect your MCP server to Google Calendar, or connect your AI to Google Calendar using MCP. In the next videos, or in other videos, I'm going to give more information on how MCP work, and also using MCP to do more things in AI.